All right. Hey, everybody. I'm Andrea from Rain City Games, and today we have folks from Inside Up Games who are going to be demoing City Builder Ancient World. We have Conor McGoey, who is the owner and person in chief of of Inside Up Games, and then Andrei Filip, who designed City Builder. We're gonna get a demo of City Builder and also just kind of chat about what it was like putting the game together and how that collaboration came to be.
Sounds awesome. Thanks, Andrea.
And I'm
Great.
gonna step away for a few minutes, but I'll be back later on in the stream.
And if anyone is missing Andrea, immediately just go down to the store and buy a whole bunch of games because you'll see her work on the floor.
Or that, yes. You may recognize me from such works as the security camera feed that we had going yesterday. Anyway, you guys have fun.
See that? Look at that newbie mistake. Did not turn off his cell phone. There we go. Get that going. That's bad video right there. So, Andrei, how's it going, buddy? I think it's pretty good timing. I feel in that it was at the AwSHUX event that Rain City Games put on last year. We did a speed dating event, and I had no idea who Andrei was and the trouble he would cause me for this last year, and how painful this relationship has been for both of us. But yeah, no. So from my side of things, I'll do it quick, and then I'll start grilling Andrei because he's more interesting than me. But basically, I know Andrea and Channing, who run Rain City Games. I met them years back through various cons and whatnot. We've become friends. And they invited me and Inside Up Games to come by the AwSHUX event last year for some speed dating by some designers. And during that time, there were a couple that piqued my interest, including Andrei's. So I asked him to basically meet with me again during the AwSHUX festival. And he sat down with Joe, my business partner, and I, and showed us the game, and which I was interested in right away. So we took it back, and the rest is history, as they say. But to have a little bit more fun with that, we'll jump back and we'll grill Andrei and find out, where the game came from. It's been in his brain for a long time. He's been tweaking it for a long time, and I've played this game hundreds of times, and I still love it. So he did a great job. So Andrei, where did the initial seed for the game come from? Do you remember?
Yes, it was the summer of 2014. No, it was a really long time ago. It was actually a completely different game at the time. I started off with, and it was a completely different mechanic. Like every single thing was different. I had this idea at the time of a mechanic where you would have a hand of cards or whatever it was, and then you would pick some things to do as your actions, and then whatever was left over was an event or something bad that would happen, which I thought that's amazing idea. That's pretty cool, right? So let's do this. So for the rest, for the next 4 years, I was trying to make that work. And I could not for the life of me. So it's like the puzzle was interesting, and it generated interesting puzzles, but it never felt like a cohesive experience. I'm not even sure how to explain it. The thing with that system was that I would just make puzzle after puzzle after puzzle after puzzle, and then every single time you played it for the first time, it was great, and it was like, wow, this is very interesting. But then as soon as you played it the second time, it was not interesting anymore. Because because I think because the players already kind of know what the solution was. So even if you randomize the solution and the way to get there, the surprise is still a little bit gone.
So what I'm going to do is, because I'm a horrible interviewer, is I'm going to continually interrupt Andrei, and I'll jump off the points that he gives. And one of the things, and for those of you who don't know the game, I'll give you a little teaser of the amazing box art and the amazing game that it is. But one of the things that he speaks about, which interests me, is that puzzle aspect. And in the game, you'll be laying tiles to create your city builder, obviously. But that's one of the things that was really, really fun is as you're building the city, there's that puzzle aspect to it, which really, really interested me right away. And by the time I got involved with the project on his competitive mode, he really fine-tuned that puzzle so that from my experience, every single time I played that game, I was interested, and there wasn't a perfect solution for the puzzle. So just a hint to you of what's coming, but so you can see where he started with versus where I saw it at with that puzzle being really refined. So I'll let you continue, Andre.
Yeah, and I do agree with you that every time you play a game, like the way that I see things is that you need to have a puzzle in the game, like, and the puzzle needs to be how to say this, every single one of your turns has to be a little bit of a puzzle. It doesn't have to be super complicated, but it has to give you something a little bit more, because otherwise either you're waiting for everybody else to take their turns, you already know what you have to do, or you have no idea what to do, you're waiting for your turn to figure it out. So there's got to be something in between. So every single one of your turns has to be a little bit different than the previous. So
agreed. And one of the things that I think works well is that even though I've played the game so many times and I can pre-plan my turn, it's now the final product is in such a way that there are little variables that can change to improve or hurt your game that you need to be able to react to. So as Andre just hinted at, you're not just kind of sitting there waiting, being like, okay, this person's going to go, I'm going to go. You're there being like, okay, if I could do this, then I'm going to line up that. And if this is going to work, I'm going to line up. So you're kind of doing this little planning and puzzling and thinking on your feet, which is, again, what interests me.
Yeah, and I agree. That's a very good part of the game to have in. So, anyways, like I was working on that design with the puzzle aspect. I could never figure it out, and also at that point, the game was purely co-op, so which was another kind of obstacle. It was a little bit of an obstacle because it's difficult to design co-op games. And I actually learned a lot about making co-op games, even though I ended up not making one.
Well, the funny thing is, it's not hard to make co-op games. It's hard to make interesting and good co-op games.
Yeah.
Right? To make them co-op, you're like, okay, this works, but like, why does anyone care? Why does anyone want to play this?
Yeah.
That's the tricky part.
Yeah. So anyway, so that went on for 4 years, and I was very lucky that I had a game group that I could go and play these things with. And that's even through 4 years, it still was a fast development. Like I remember there were times when I would, for 1 year, every week go to the playtest group, and every other week I would come up with a new design. So exasperating everybody in the process, right? And I'm not joking. Like there was sometimes like very kind of a not tense moments, but sometimes they were like it was kind of becoming clear to me that like I can't. I'm kind of starting to abuse these people a little bit. Like so, that's another lessons that you learn there about playtesting.
Yeah, it's hard. Yeah, but it's a tricky balance because part of you would love to have a new group that you're not going to feel like you're abusing, that are excited and interested each time. But at the same time, you also need to have those players that you can say, you know what? I need you to try to break this part of the game. I need you to try to so the game, there's not the learning curves. They need to jump in, know the bones, and then just play with it, right? They need to be able to actually test that game. And I deal with that with all of my own designs and all the games that I'm pitched is when I get to the stage where I'm running it through my testers is you do feel bad and be like, nope, we got to do again. Nope, we got to go again. Like we've got to make this the best it can be.
Yeah, and I owe them a huge thank you because they did stick through all this, right? For all these years, they did help tremendously developing even the portions that eventually didn't make it into the game. Because you have to break a lot of them in order to find the one that actually works.
And so one of the you can echo this if you had this experience, but one of the issues that I ran into on my first game when I was doing Summit years ago was that there'd be different people that I would respect within the industry who would make a comment about the game after either not having played it or having played it once, and then I'd be like, oh, and then I'd like scramble to like retry it and do it that way, and then it would it wouldn't work. And then the lesson I learned of that is like, okay, calm down. Wait for like repeated comments. If the same thing is coming up, then that's an issue. If it comes up once on a rando, don't redo the whole game.
Yeah, and it's important also to find multiple people to play test, because some as you test with more people, with the same people, you understand what they like and what they don't like in games. So their comments will be influenced by that, and it's a human nature. Like whenever I give feedback, it's heavily influenced by my preferences. So
Exactly.
it may be completely off and not applying and not working.
And that's part of, in my opinion, that's part of either the designer or the development team to recognize that and know, like, I'm going to make this person test this game knowing they don't like it. So what are they going to rip apart, and what of it am I going to take as positive criticism that I can work on, and what of it am I going to ignore? Because there's some games that I know that some people are like, I hate this part. And I'm like, I understand that you hate that part, but I also think that you're in the minority of gamers. Like, what you're expecting out of this is different what someone else would expect from this experience.
Yeah, like I do with my girlfriend, because she doesn't play games. So I know that when I test games with her, it has to be super simple and super basic, and I know that I can't get her attention. So like if she's comfortable with the game, then I know that okay, that's a good
Metric,
place to be. Yeah, so it's kind of interesting. Anyway,
and was this the theme that was, I mean, besides a slight name change, was the theme always the same?
Yeah. So right at the beginning, ever since I had that system, it was always about building a city. Of course, originally the idea was that you would build these. It's like you would use those actions to generate resources, which would give you buildings, which you could use to generate more resources. To like, it was kind of an engine builder, tableau builder sort of thing. You were building a tableau, basically. That's what it was. It wasn't really a city. So so that was the theme, building a city. And I always wanted to do that. Like I like that theme. So after a while, like after seeing that nothing really works, I took a break, and I don't know what it was, like a couple of months. Play other games and not really do much design. Just kind of do something else for a change. And then one day I was on Vancouver Island playtesting with one of my friends, and he has a game about building sandcastles on the beach. And I was playing that game, and it's one thing that I really liked about that game immediately was that I was having an experience. Like as I was playing the game, I was not so much about the mechanics, but it's just kind of the way that everything was put together made it feel like like you're at the beach, you're building sandcastles. And then when I realized that actually this might be what's more important in the game, having being able to capture an experience and being able to relate that experience, being able to make something. And to me, basically, maybe game design, that's what it boils down to, making somebody else who doesn't know you have an experience that you made, and having that particular experience, not something completely different. So I don't know if that makes any sense, but yeah, so that's when it hit me that my game, whatever I was doing up to that point, was not actually creating the experience of building a city. And from that point on, I approached this from a completely different angle. And that's actually how I do things nowadays. Is like first I try to okay, this is the theme that I'm interested in doing, or whatever. How do you replicate that experience?
Yeah.
And I went back to I started researching all sorts of computer games, city builders, and went back. Like I used to play a lot of city builders in my younger computer age. This was like 95, 90 something, 2000s. And there was one in particular, Caesars 3, that I used to play a lot. And that game was about building a Roman city, which was originally the theme for this game.
Yeah.
And like asking questions like, what is it about building city that is interesting? Like, why do people do this? Like, what makes them, and I the way that I broke it down is that it comes down to convincing these little AI people to come to your city and to stay in your city.
Yeah, it's true.
That's how we all want. Like, you have this guy and he wants a theater, and now you have to demolish this houses so you can build him a theater. And then you're like, yeah, are you happy? And then he's like, he's not happy. He also wants a library. And I was like, Jesus Christ, where I'm going to have the money to? So like all that is frustrating, but that frustration keeps you going. That's what keeps you playing the game. And so that's when I started looking into how to replicate that in a board game. And that's how this version that I pitched to you came into existence, in which you have these color citizens, and the colors indicate what they really want, and then they also have some other requirements, right? But that's that was the whole kind of, yeah, exactly.
Some commoners, and then my Vanna White hands. Let's see. Can I get the big nobles in the background? My hand big enough? I'll put that blue guy on the hill. There we go. Boom.
Oh, nice. Looks really good.
Did they turn out nice?
Oh yeah.
Looks and when it's on the table. So what I was hinting at with Andre before we went live is that I've literally just got the samples from the manufacturer, and it turned out great. And its table presence, its color, the bright, the excitement, it's really, really nice. So from that side, so Andre pitched me the game. We were working at it, and then he basically talked about what he did, how he did it, what he liked. I talked about what I liked, and then for Inside Up Games, for the most part, we want our games to kind of have that larger player count. So for up to 5 or 6 players if possible, down to 1 or 2 players if possible, or various game modes. So the idea of with Summit, competitive, cooperative, solo, that sort of thing. And I generally steer away from the lower player counts, but Andre did such a good job that he was pitching me a 2 to 4 player game, and it worked at those player counts. It worked really well. So from that side of things, there was very little tweaking I had to do at all. It was fun. It was enjoyable every single time I played it. A great story that I like to tell is that I like to test it with different skill sets as well. And I can't remember where I was, but for some reason I was teaching it to my family, and my extended family, my brothers and sisters, when they were in town, and my parents. And my dad was there, and he's playing, and he's laying these tiles and laying these tiles. And at this point of the game, it was just kind of like I would play, I would be done, Andre would play, he'd be done. It was just like, it made sense. My dad would get so excited playing this game and the puzzly aspect of it that you'd look over and he'd have 20 tiles in his city and everyone else would have 3. And you're like, Dad, what are you doing? But he just was like, he would just get so focused and excited about, I got to build this in, I can get this person in, I can get this monument, and he just go, and I'm like, okay, that is the fact that he's so excited, and he plays games and he's an intelligent individual, but he's not a gamer. But the fact that he was so drawn to the game was one of those things I was like, I know this is going to be a hit for sure, because my playtesting groups loved it as well. So there was very little negative or need for feedback. But one of the things I did ask Andre back at AwSHUX was, okay, have you thought about anything else? Have you tried to push the player count, or have you tried to do a cooperative mode? And that's where he told me, actually, I did co-op mode for a while, but I never really found a way that worked, that made him happy, and that felt that it worked. So if I'm remembering right, then at that point he basically gave me the basic idea of what he had toyed with, and then from the moment that we signed him on, him and I then had the fun of basically playing it and tweaking it and changing it and getting the cooperative mode of the game going. And it's such an amazing experience, and one of the things that I love about it is the constant feedback of you're really getting 2 different types of games that use 80% of the same components. Yep. So yeah, we've added different cooperative monuments, and we've added the Emperor's Edicts to kind of change the game a little bit. But you can literally, like, if you don't like playing competitive games, you could just play the cooperative game the entire time you had this game, and you still had a full experience. And if you were the opposite and you hated cooperative games, you could just play the competitive game, and you would never think or feel you were missing anything, because there is such strong standalone games, which again is fantastic feedback, and I love it. So I'm really excited to get this one out into the wild, as they say. But before we waste everyone's time with us just chatting, I'll tease a couple more images of the the sample I got, because we literally just got it. And then we'll probably flip over to Tabletopia, and then we'll kind of do a rough little setup and an explanation, maybe play a couple hands to show you how the game works. But the one thing which as I said, this is, and just for reference for anyone who's nerdy or cares, basically the way I get samples from the manufacturer I'm using is they send printed samples and they send white samples. So white samples are literally, for example, the monuments come in the punch boards. So they come just as the white, so you could check them. And these are the 2.5 millimeter black core boards, which are so insanely thick and sturdy. It's amazing. The downside being that they're actually slightly thicker than the 2.5 that we thought they were. I think they're probably around 2.7 or 2.8, which, as I'll show you, affected the insert in the game. So within the game itself, there is 2 inserts, which I'll show you, because one of those inserts is a removable tile tray. And in all point of fact, this is actually going to get about that much larger. So maybe 25% larger, just because those tiles are actually about 25% larger than we thought. So this whole tray will be removable. There's some little inserts in there you can use to separate it for your player count. And then you'll basically just be drawing tiles. Sorry, where's my screen? Drawing tiles from the game and playing them as you're going. But when you first get the game, you will have that much punch board to go through. So you actually have, it's 6 sheets, but they're connected. So you actually have 3 sheets like this of thick friggin' punch board that you're going to be going through. So there's a ton of cardboard in this game. I worked with a gentleman named Matt Healy who did the insert design with me, and he's amazing and awesome to work with, and he helped. So all of the measurements is really nice. So basically, when it's said and done, that insert will sit perfectly flush with the punch boards below it. So it'll ship nicely and it'll store nicely. Now, again, this insert will change, but to give you a rough idea how it works, we have the one tray that's removable, and then we have this beautiful tray that has everything organized very, very nicely. All the slots for your commoners, for your nobles, your score pads, your starting tiles, your monuments separated by competitive and cooperative, and then your Kickstarter stretch goals can fit in there as well for the extras that we got throughout the campaign. It'll all fit into that base insert, which will change. It's been rejigged to fit this thicker punch board. And then one of the crazy things that we actually unlocked during the campaign were triple layer player mats. So again, this is a simple, it's not actually the quality of which it will be in the final product. It'll look even nicer than this. It'll actually have, full art. These would be handmade at this point. But to give you an idea, this is the 4 that come in the game. That's how thick the chunk is. And they're great. So basically the way we have it is, if I can get the light on it, you have, the recessed tracks. So your nobles will go in this area here. Your commoners go in the 2 outside columns there, and that means basically they're not going to get knocked around as you're playing, because one of the neat things you'll see during our explanation is there is a tug of war. So if I was on this side and Andrei's on this side, we are pulling from the same track, him from his side, me from my side, and it's uncovering those victory points below. So making sure that those aren't moving around is a very nice added bonus, because everyone's pretty confident, not confident, pretty knowledgeable of terraforming Mars. If that player mat gets bumped and your cubes go everywhere, it kind of wrecks the game for you. So in this way, but you'd have to punch the board for it to actually knock stuff over. And then on the reverse side is the cooperative board. And basically how that works is you will be drawing your settlers from the bag and putting them onto the track, and they always go to the front of the line. So as as you pull them out, if they're ever 2 in a row, which is kind of some rules, then a noble goes in instead. And then as you take them off, they basically just slide up the track, so on and so forth. So these turned out really, really nice. But as you can also see, they take a heck of a lot of room in the box. So some nice premium components to give you a little idea of how these looked, because the one comment that we got during the Kickstarter campaign, which was fair, was the look of the game graphically and artistically versus the look of the box. And one of the dangerous rabbit holes we went down is we kept tweaking our art so that it would look more distinguishable on Tabletopia, because we're showing the game a lot that way. And what ended up happening is that we just got this really big difference between the iconography that's needed and kind of the background. And what you'll see in Tabletopia right now, when we go over to it, is that difference. So almost like a very brown, muted background, and then the very obvious iconography on top of it. And what we've done is we've come back to kind of how it was before, brightened it up, and really tied it so it matches the amazing color palettes that Andrew Dorland, the artist, did for the game box. So we kind of brought in those pinks and peaches and purples, which work really, really nice. So the tiles, the town squares, for example, sorry, I've got bad glares and the color's off because of the natural light and the tungsten light. But anyways, kind of give you an idea of those. And then the actual city tiles. So to give you an idea, these are not the actual final product. This is me being anal retentive and individually cutting these out of the printed ones and then gluing them onto the tiles to really make sure that everything looked and fit the way I want it to, because I'm particular like that. But yeah, these turned out really, really great. And once they're on the table, that nice little hue that was added right near the end there, Andre, that Andrew did, it really helps the game kind of pop. So if you can imagine, I don't know if my hand will be good enough to do this, but you have your city going, and then you'll have your settlers on it. So you have this beautiful city board, and then, you're putting these guys into their vacant houses kind of as needed, and it really looks really sharp. I hope you'll be as happy with it as I am with it. I think they did a really, really good job. The other thing which is super nice is Andre came up with a whole bunch of monuments. There are two different kinds. There are competitive and cooperative monuments. Again, sorry for the glare. That do different things. So during the competitive game, they're end game scoring multipliers. They're bonuses that you want to try to go for to kind of get the leg up on your competitors. Whereas in the cooperative game, like these ones here, they're actually in-game objectives that you're trying to reach. So it changes the play quite a bit. And the thing that I love about them, on top of the functionality, is the actual art. So here's some example of some of Andrew Dorland's art. And it looks so nice when it's laid out on the table, and when you're nerdy like me and you've done what you need to do, and you can flip those monuments over and you kind of see your finished city with those monuments, full art on them, and these beautifully laser cut, settlers in the track. It just really, really pops. So that's the quick-ish overview of everything. The score pad, which we have in there, which is really nice. I think I've kind of gone over everything. The starting tiles. So you'll see that in the Tabletopia as well. We'll have a starting hand of tiles that are different back to help you separate them. And so we'll jump over how am I doing for time? Okay, we're still doing all right. So we'll flip over to Tabletopia. I am going to try to share my screen. Let's see if I can figure that out. And I am going to flip on Tabletopia. Let's see if it works. Hopefully this is working. Right there. So here we go. So here's the game. So this is, again, the last little caveat I'll give you. This is the older art on the cards than we actually have. So this is free to play. So anyone who's interested can always jump on Tabletopia and fire up City Builder. Both the competitive and cooperative modes are there. If you want to put the solo mode, you're able to do that too. And then I basically have preset everything so that you can play it at whatever player count you want. The setup's different. And for anyone learning Tabletopia, down here in the bottom left are the rules. So it would actually help you learn the game as well. But the simple, quick little overview I'll give, as if I give teaches, I've done it 1,000 times, is you basically need 15 tiles per player. So in this case right here, it's just going to be me playing blue and then Andre playing red. We're going to leave these bottom two out because, as I say, Andrea is currently busy running her actual store. So what we would do is we'd take any two of these piles. I mean, in the real life game, you just grab 30 tiles, and we could shuffle these up. There's going to be a slight lag as my computer runs too many things right now. We'll get rid of these extra tiles. We also don't need these extra settlers. So these are settler tracks currently set to the competitive side. Obviously, it's important because we're setting up for the competitive mode. If we were playing the cooperative mode, then we'd be flipping these tracks over. An important thing to note is that these tracks are set up randomly each time you play. And again, these tokens have changed now to the nice laser cut ones. The one thing that never changes, however, are these purple settlers. They're the most picky, we'll say, and they have the highest amount of requirements to get into your city. They create the halfway mark of the trail of the tracks. So again, Andre's going to be pulling from this side. I'll be pulling from that side, and I'll explain how it works. But in an actual game setup, you would just set up these purples, and then these other ones would be randomly placed. Always the commoners to the outside, and the nobles on the inside track. And that's for all around the table. You can see that if there had been a third player, we'd have a third track between me and them, and then this track would actually be between Andre and them, and a fourth, while there's a track between everybody. So you're competing with your neighbors on both sides. Andre, you can go ahead and grab any starting pile you want. There's actual proper ways of setting up the game that we're going to kind of go over quickly. So for example, if I was to flip this and I use spacebar to zoom in, you can see there's a number 2 in the corner. So whoever had the lowest number of these would be the one who went first. But I'm just going to kind of quickly get things up and going.
Yeah,
so,
I took a pile.
You took a pile. I'll randomly take a pile too. I'll grab these ones. I'm going to draw them into my hand. Now I know that Andrei's watching the Twitch stream. So see what's in my hand. So, and neither him nor I need this player aid, but I'll just put it up here to reference for you guys if needed. We will use this, and we'll put this up here because why not? Get this stuff out of the way. Okay, so we'll do this. I'll lock that there. Bring these guys in. So in the actual game, these would actually be stored in a bag, and you'd pull them out as needed. But for our own interest now, we'll just have these 3. So basically, we have access to this one, or the top one. So those are the 3 different options of what we can build. Now, I won't actually explain these yet. I'll wait till we start going in the game, and I'll give you a brief overview of how the game's played. Because another of the things that spoke to me when Andrei taught me the game first is the simplicity of the play. So basically, what you'll be doing every time is you will be playing a tile from your hand to your city, right, in whatever orientation you want. There are some placement rules, which I'll explain. But then after playing, you will potentially welcome settlers or build monuments and then draw a tile. That's it. So play a tile, draw a tile, play a tile, draw a tile. Once you've gone through all the tiles in our hand and the deck and in the discards, then it'll be game over. So we will have added a total of 18 tiles to our city. Now, how does this actually work? Well, if I zoom into my city here as an example, I'll show you. So again, on your turn, you're only placing 1 tile. The reason you are placing tiles is because you want to create districts. And this district here is a complete or a finished district. And that's because there is a road that runs completely around it. So you can see that there's a rectangle I've made. Now everything else is still open. There's no roads here, so I have these weird triangles and oblong shapes. Those are not closed off. But as I keep going and placing tiles, I can close them off like I've done here, for example. Once you have a closed-off district, you basically have 2 options, and they are optional for when you want to take them on your turn. So I could wait till my next turn if that was better for me. But basically, I can do one of 2 things, welcome settlers or build a monument. To welcome settlers, I'll reference this card here. Now, in the actual game, there'll be individual. There'll be 4 individual player rates, so everyone will have their own, make it a little easier to play. But here, as it shows you, to claim a settler, as I right-hand side of the screen, it'll show you how it works. So if I want one of these small guys, which we call commoners, then I need 1 of their color and 1 not of their color. If I need a noble, I'll need 2 of their color and 1 not of that color. So again, that kind of repeats itself as you can see, so on and so forth. But as I mentioned before, the purples, those are the tricky ones. So a small purple commoner wants 3 different colored landmarks. So for example, red, orange, blue, or green, blue, red, whatever. 3 different ones would be the small, and the large noble needs 1 of each. Now, the important thing to note down here in the corner is the statue. That is a wild. It could be any colored landmark you want. Once it's assigned a color, it basically stays that color for the rest of the game. Now, an important thing to know is that I could use 1 color landmark as the primary and then use it as a secondary. So what I'll do right here is you'll see that I have an orange and a blue landmark in here. So using that grid I just showed you, I could get an orange settler because I have an orange and then another color that's not orange. I could also get a blue settler because I have a blue and a not blue. So in this case, I could simply go blue from here into my vacant house, the white roofed buildings.
That's a green, man.
Does that show green for you?
Yeah.
Does it really? Are you colorblind, or is it just a
probably? Yeah, I think it's just green. Yeah, it's funny. It must be a Tabletopia.
A glitch, unfortunate. Yeah, that does happen. So this is on my screen. It's blue, so hopefully for viewers it's blue as well.
It's the same time. It's just rotated differently.
Oh, sorry, the tile is messed up. I see. Okay, well that happens sometimes. Is that better?
Oh yeah, that shows properly.
Okay, so there we go. That's a glitch with the way the tiles show to people. We found that out during testing on Tabletopia. Anyways, so blue and something let me gets blue, orange and something lets me gets orange. Now, if I go over to the settler track over here, you'll see I've uncovered a 1 on each side, meaning that at the end of the game, I'd have scored 2 points for getting those settlers in here. Now, something I always point out to new players is that it's better to dig down a track than off the fronts, because as soon as you take one settler, the one behind it becomes available. So I can take this blue off from here, and then you'll see that I'm actually now scoring 3 points. It also allows me to get to this green for more points, or this purple for more points. Now, the interesting thing that happens is as I pull these off, I'm also limiting how far Andrei can go. So now he would only be able to get this far down the track because there always has to be one settler left. And that's to show where the divide is at the end of the game. We would know that he would score 3 points and I would score 10 points. So that tug of war is very important, and it excites new players. But I tell them not to forget these monuments, which I'm going to explain now. So we'll put these guys back because I said you had 2 options: placing settlers or building monuments. You can't do both. So to build a monument, again, you need that completed district, but there's 2 kind of requirements to the monuments. The first is that you need the landmarks. So I would need an orange and a blue. And I did that on purpose because I actually have 2 options here. 2 with orange and blue. That was just the luck of the shuffle. So I could put either one in there. The other requirement that's very important is that the district I build has to actually be the exact size of that monument. Now, all monuments are the same size, so all districts with monuments will be this rectangular size. But if I got, excited and I was going to do something like this, nope, that's not going to work for my example. Let's do this. Come on. And this, well, I've still got orange and blue, but it's the wrong size. So that would be an illegal placement. I could not do that. So I'll put this back to how it was. There we go. So I can place this in here because I have the monuments or the landmarks that are needed, orange and blue, and it's the size I want. And I could place either one of these. So this one here, the Temple of Venus, for example, says gain 2 victory points per populated district in your city with no empty houses. So I would want to cover up all my vacant houses in my districts, and I'd be scoring bonus points for that. If that one didn't interest me for whatever reason, I could build this Temple of Juno instead. And the Temple of Juno says immediately discard 1 noble from each column on your tracks. So nobles are the big guys. So I'd actually get to take this red guy off and this orange guy off, and I'd have made myself 4 points, and again, shortened up the track for how far Andrei could go. Now, there might be some strategy in building this one later where I've already gone down the track some ways, because then it's going to actually help me uncover much more points. You can see 2, 4, 7 as it increases as you go up the board. So that's an option there. The other thing you can do, if you're like me and you like it, is for this one here, for example, that's a one and done. I don't need to remember it like I do this one. So you can always flip that over and enjoy the full beautiful art that, oh, it's sideways, but that Andrew did for us. So that one's there. So we'll replace these here. Those are the 2 ways you can use your districts in your city, either welcome settlers or build monuments. Now I'll quickly draw some of these back into my hand, and we'll actually start playing a couple rounds to go over stuff, because there's minor things which I haven't fully explained yet, but you'll see as we're playing. For example, one of the options I have after having played a tile from my hand is I can discard, either or both of my remaining tiles, and I'll do that just for fun to show people. I can discard these 2 here, and I'm going to now draw up to 3, which puts 3 tiles in my hand. Oh, and I got some of these guys, which is great. And now, unfortunately, Andrei can see my screen. But I've finished my turn. I've drawn up to 3, so I'll pass the little active player marker over to Andrei, and he's going to play his turn.
Okay, let's do this.
Okay, so he was nice and fast. I'm assuming he's done, so he's going to throw that back at me. He just designed the game. Doesn't mean he likes Tabletopia. So I'm now.
I'm trying to get into it. It's just, I guess, much of a dinosaur.
You know what? This one actually changed in the final one. So can I build it? I can't yet. So why don't I simply go with this here? Yes, let's do this. And we'll do that for now. So I'm starting to build a larger district than I had showed you guys in my previous example. I'll draw up an extra card, and I'll give the active player token over to Andrei.
That would be interesting. So one other thing that Conor forgot to mention is that you don't actually have to do things when you place a tile. You can wait. So, for example, one thing that I did here is that I set up this
district,
and I can right now I can take one of these settlers and put it in there in a house. There's no monument in here that matches this configuration, but I can wait. And then as soon as that monument pops up, if I like it, I can just drag it into my city.
On his turn.
Yeah, I have to wait for my turn. But if it's still there on my turn, it doesn't take an action, doesn't take anything. I can just move it in.
And that's right. And he could do that with either monuments or settlers. So, for example, he might pre-plan needing to get to a certain point and then not do something, so that when he is ready, he can kind of sneak attack me and clear a whole bunch at a time. So I'm going to do this then. That one there. And then I'm going to draw. And I'll go back. So as you can see, in Tabletopia slows you down quite a bit, but you can see how fast the game actually plays as you're going, which I really, really enjoy.
Let's see. Noble and gain 1, 2 populated. Becomes. All right, I'll start this one. And wait, how do I rotate it again?
Okay, click
control.
Yeah, but you need to do it over top of the darn game because there's a magnet in Tabletopia that snaps.
Oh, right. Steps and snaps your tiles. All right, so that's cool. And as you can see, I uncovered this monument that has the exact same configuration that I have here. Oh. So if I like it, 2 points for longest street. We're early in the game, so yeah, why not? I'm going to try to make this.
He's a pain. Okay, so he uncovered the Senate House now. Gain 2 victory points per noble in your city. So that's good to know as well.
Sorry, let's draw my tile. And over to you.
So I will drop this guy here. I will draw a new one, and I'll throw this back over to Andrei.
Okay, so I know that I want long streets now.
Now what I'm doing now is just because I played this game way too much. So I'm actually cheating by playing off turn. That's going to remind me of what my play is.
Let's do that.
Okay, I'm just going to flip this one over there, leave it where it is. 1, 2, 3, 4. So let's see. I'll just simply, actually, I'll keep both of those for now. Oh, that's not what I wanted, but that's okay. Sorry, I threw it on your city. Okay, so the viewers can see my screen, and unfortunately, Andrei can hear me, and he's probably seeing my screen too. So you can see what I'm kind of planning over here. So I've created this massive district, and I've got some wilds in there, which are going to be a lot of options. Pro tip, you'll never need more than 5 vacant houses in your city because there's only 5 colors. And a very important rule, which we both forgot to mention, is you're only allowed 1 of each colored settler in your districts, regardless of the size. So if I had this small red commoner in here, I could not also have the large red commoner. That's very, very important. And it works really, really well. So he's given me that. So let's just kind of speed play so I don't waste too much time for people. And I am going to draw orange, green, 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, I need to get 1 more color in there. Nuts. I don't want to do that yet. So I'm going to do this instead. Drop that there. I'm going to discard this tile and this tile in hopes of getting what I need right now. So I'll draw 3 fresh tiles. Yeah, that's what I wanted. And now I'll give this to Andrei. So what I'm trying to do, and I shouldn't be saying it out loud, is I'm trying to get some of these nobles in my city, some of these big guys here. So to do that, I need 2 of their colors. So I've got an orange, a red, and 2 wilds. So I can see the different options I have: red, orange, and then green and orange. So this is probably going to be my next play. Prep while Andrei takes his turn.
Yeah. Meanwhile, I will continue with this.
You know what? I'm worried because I have been watching Andrei's screen, which is easy in Tabletopia, but much easier in real life for some strange reason. So he could easily try to jump in here and mess me up. So I think I might be pushing my luck if I try to do what I'm doing for too much longer. So I'm going to try to get ready to end it sooner than later. I'll give that back to Andrei, and it's his turn. So what happens here, which is nice, is that I have these 2 tracks. Luckily, there's not a third player messing with this track for me right now. I'm just needing to worry about Andrei. But I'm basically trying to preset myself so that he can screw me on one track. He can't screw me on both tracks. So we'll see what he does. Well, sorry. Eventually, he can screw me over on both tracks, but he can't stop what I'm planning on both at the same time. Although you can pull for multiple tracks. I don't want that to confuse people. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to drop this one up here and rotate it. So I've closed off this giant district now, and inside it I have 2 reds, 2 oranges, and then 2 other colors. So what that allows me to do is go 2 reds plus another, I'll say. That's me the big red one in there. And now 2 oranges plus another gets me the big orange. Oh, come on, you. Now, because I can assign these colors as I want, I'm going to make 1 blue and 1 green, which means I have all 4 colors in there. Now I can take a large purple as well. I have 2 houses left, and I don't have any blue or green, but I have a small blue and a small green because I already assigned their colors to get this big guy here. So I can take a blue and a green, and again, it's better to go down a track than it is to go across the bottom. So I'm going to take this small green here, this small blue here, and in that play, I've managed to do 7, 11, 13, 14, 16 points for my endgame score by completing that 1 district. But it did take me a while, and in the meantime, Andrei's got these extra monuments on his side of the screen. So we'll play a couple last turns because I see we're getting close to the end of our hour. Andrea has joined us again. If she sees any questions or has anything she wants to add, she's welcome to do that. If not, we'll kind of just play out our time and make some plans of what we can do here.
Okay, well, I'm gonna jump in and take this from you.
Ah, see, that's an obviously great play for Andrei to do.
Like, I'm not sure if I'm gonna make it as good as you, but you're not getting those points, that's for sure.
See, so he played very defensively, which was smart. He saw me eye that up when it came up, and then he saw my plan of getting these. So that would have been a very easy 6 points for me to make right off the bat. But he's stolen it. Oh, see, and now this one here, victory column, gain 4 victory points. Gain an extra 4 victory points if your city has the most victory points from monuments. So right now, I have the most points, and Andrei has the most monuments, but he'll really only score these once he has his city completed with people in it. So this could go towards either of us right now because I'm actually scoring for these guys. So you know what I might do, because he's being a jerk, is let me see if I can be clever. I shouldn't have gotten rid of what I got rid of. That was premature. So let me do... Let's do this then for now. Change of plans again, and let's ditch that for now. And I'll draw up 3. Just a note. Why are those floating? There we go. Just a note. These discards will not be shuffled. They will just be flipped over. So in the regular game, what's nice about the tile tray is you'll actually just be putting them to the bottom of the tile stack each time. So the tray you're just kind of pulling, and you can dump them at the bottom, and then they'll naturally come out. Because we're going to run through both of these piles and our hand normally before the game would end.
Oh, it's my turn. Okay.
It is.
Let's do this here. I think I have everything I need, so I'm just going to draw.
Another note that I can blab about while Andrei's working is this grid system is just for Tabletopia. Normally you'd just be playing in front of you on the table. You're not limited to what size it is or which direction you build in. This is just literally for us to play on. So I'm going to drop this guy in here. I'll rotate it like that. And now I've closed off another district. Little guy here. Red, blue, green with 3 houses. Now, normally I try to get a 4th house because I can get a small red, a small blue, and a small green, but also with 3 different colors, I can get a small purple. So I could actually fill 4 houses, but I only have 3. However, I'm going to just, for teaching purposes, I'm going to take them anyways. Take a red, a purple, and a blue to really kind of shut this track down. So Andrei can't score points on that one there. I'll draw a card, and then I'll pass the turn back to Andrei.
Oh man, I almost have it.
I like almonds.
Yeah, I'm gonna have. I wish I could have close it right now, but I gotta extend this a little bit.
See, I'm really pre-planning here, hoping it's gonna mess with Andrei.
Oh. Go a little bit too much, but yeah, I am getting. Wait just a second. Let me see if I'm getting too greedy at this point.
Oh, go ahead. You have lots of time. Don't mind me.
Where did I put that? Oh. Okay. Goes back to my hand.
Because of the delay, I saw Andrea laughing at my bad joke. Excellent. It's a good sign when the poor designer is taking more time than the publisher. Let's go. Come on. You're going to lose.
All right, fine. I'll just leave it.
It's the ultimate showdown
Jesus,
now.
Man.
Exactly. Here we go.
Oh, now I get it. That's great. Awesome.
This game is so good. All right, you done there, old man?
Yeah, I'm good.
Give me that. All right, watch this. Ready? There you go. Flip that over. I'll draw a new one, and I'll give it back. Whoa, I gave him the wrong thing. That's how you play. Let's go. Come on.
I can put that there. I need that over there, and I'm gonna need. Wow. Oof.
You know how stressed he is? He just knows I'm going to annihilate him. That's not actually the case. He could easily beat me. So one of the things that I mentioned, which I haven't even done it yet, when I teach the game to players on Tabletopia, is people get really excited, like I am, over these tug of wars, because I really want to shut them down, get lots of points. But playing these wisely will be the difference between a win or a lose. You need to really kind of get at least one or two, maybe three or four, if you can play really well, into your city and maximize those points, because you will not win on points alone, just from these settler tracks. All right, is it my turn?
Yes.
Okay, so I'm gonna flip this over. Now I've completed another district, and it has orange, blue, red, which would allow me to build quite a multitude of different options for monuments. But I'm gonna take this one as kind of a screw you back to Andrei, because he took away my Senate house. So that one here, once I build that, immediately discard a noble from each track. So when I've done this, these nobles will get knocked out of the game.
No!
And I have shut this one down from him.
I was like one turn away.
And see, because I was evil, I looked at his city.
Oh,
he needed
man.
to close it off. He was clearly going to try to build the blue.
one turn away from closing it, literally.
Well, he's still okay, because if he can throw a red closer here, he'll get the red. And
I'm fine, but I would have preferred to get all the other points.
It's true, but I'd prefer to kind of shut you down for shutting me down. So I'll do that. I'll draw a tile. Whoa, what did I just do? I rotated it.
Well, this is not
there's only
fun.
one. I'll do this. You can't say this is not fun about your own game. That does not sell your game. Speaking of selling your game, there we go. How's that for a segue? If you are interested in buying it, you can pre-order it from Rain City Games' website, because they have always supported my Kickstarters as retailers. So they will have the stock coming into them with all those Kickstarter exclusive goodies that they get, because they're with us from the start. So go support local. If you're not in the Vancouver area or not in Canada and you can't order from them, then feel free to check Inside Up Games out online as well, or bug your local retail for it, because we are in distribution around the world, so you should be able to get it. The game currently only comes with English in it, but where there are like 6 language translations going on right now. So those will all be available free of charge on our website digitally for anyone who wants to change it. So there is very little in-game text, just the monuments really. Everything else is text free, which is nice. Oh, we're waiting for me, eh? And we've got a couple minutes left. So
yeah, let me do one big move in this game.
Oh, you know what? Then we should probably stop right here before Andrei has a chance to do his big move. I think that would be... No, okay. So let me see. I need to actually get some more of these. Oh, look, I didn't even put another one out. What are my options? That's not going to be that one. Ooh, I like this one because I have so many different ones in there. So I'm going to do this. Whoa, don't zoom out. Like that. I flip it. Now, normally I wouldn't say, ooh, I like this one because that gives Andrei the chance of screwing me over. Now I'm going to take all the tiles in my hand because at this point in the game, they are not helping me. Oh, come on. You're going to do this at the end of the game? Stack. Thank you. And then I'll draw up, draw 3, and then I will end my turn like so. There is a turn mode. Sorry, go ahead, Andrei. There's a turn mode you can activate in Tabletop if you're playing. That's a symbol up here. But because Rain City Games is in here with us, it would actually pause on their turn each time. So we've just ignored that. But if you are playing online, feel free to use a turn-based, and that will actually show a little notice on your screen each time it's your turn or someone else's turn. Oh, big play. That's what I'm going to do here.
And I was aiming to get this one as well, but I can't because it's the last one.
That's right. So what I usually do is just lock it off like that. Lock that one.
Yeah, that is
so
unfortunate.
That was wonderful. So epically played by me, crushing poor Andrei at his own
humble.
Game.
It's true. And again, the scores aren't even tallied. So with all those monuments he has, I might be left in the dust. We'll see.
I mean, I did lose, like, what is this? 4 points plus 2 from here, plus I did lose like 6 points out of that move. So, and 6 points in a game that scores around 30 something, 40. That's anyway. So I'll just draw this one. How do I put it in? Okay. So and then I am done.
So why don't I do, what do I want to keep here? Let's get rid of this one. No, I keep the red in my hand. Let's use this one here like that. So now I have red, orange, green, which is the one I wanted, right? Yes. Because this one has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 colors in it. So I'm putting the granary there with the red and orange that I need. I'm pointing at my screen with my finger as if you guys could possibly see that. Okay, this is going to go here. And this one here says 2 victory points per set of a unique color in districts adjacent to this monument. I have all 5 colors in one district adjacent, so that's going to score me 10 sweet, sweet points right there. And because I can, I'm going to flip that over like this. And anyone who gets the game later and plays this online, there's been some changes to the actual monument art, slightly because we had some backers back for having themselves or their families put into the game. So those change, which is super cool. I'll draw up. There's Andrei's turn.
What do I want?
Nuts.
No, it actually might be good. Score this one. All right.
All right, I'll flip this. Oh, we gotta flip the stack over. I'll take 1. I'll give this to Andrei. Boom. Woo-wee. Do we need to end right on time? I see we're out of time now, Andrea. Should we?
Nah, I mean,
end it?
It's the only thing after you is like our security camera feed for an hour and a half. So it's fine.
Okay, so we'll actually have a chance to finish and score it. So we'll see how we do.
Oh shoot! I forgot to discard. Wait. I wanted to discard. I wanted to discard this one and this one. What? Why can I not draw?
Because there's only 1 left. Haha.
Oh, okay. So then I
You got that one, and you get one more.
Got this, and I get one more.
Okay, so then I'm going to flip this. But wait a second, how did that work? We'll see. I'm losing my mind. Okay, anyways, I've done this. And for this option, how is he doing for points over here? Choose which a tile on your longest. So he has. This is not great video, but I'm actually checking to see how he's doing for points versus how I'm doing for points. Let's do this one for now then. Put this in here. I'll rotate this like that. There we go. Is there a tile missing? Who started, you or me? I thought I started. Are we missing a tile?
I honestly don't remember.
I'll count it in a second. It's not the end of the world. But I'll let you can go ahead and take your turn. I'll draw this for now. See what happens. Why is this lit up? Is there 2 tiles there? Yes, I somehow have an extra tile. So we'll do this fair. 1, 2, 3.
It's like allegations of cheating on both sides.
Oh yeah, well, he
tiles
wins.
flying left
He
and right.
cheated. If I win, everything is cool.
With an asterisk.
Oh, that's not what I wanted to do. Oops. I wanted to shuffle them.
Okay.
So how many tiles do you have left? And how many? Check how many.
I have 2.
You have 2 left. And how many tiles are in your city? So this doesn't happen in an actual physical game.
I have 17 in my city, including the first.
So you should have an extra 1 in your hand. Right? So there.
Yep. Okay. Fine. That's not the tile I wanted.
But, and to be actually fair, because something went wrong. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. See, this is why you shouldn't pre-lay tiles like I was doing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 17, 18, 2 left. You have 17, so you may as well just go again, Andre.
Really?
Yeah, something happened. I'm not sure what.
Okay. Let's see.
All right, that changes things for me though. I got to think on my feet a little bit here. That's not great. That's not great. Uh-oh.
That's it.
I'm in a little bit of trouble because these are the wrong shapes to close things off. I can close that, close this. Nope, that's bad. That's, I could do that. That's just full of, uh-oh. All of my trash talking is coming back to haunt me. Because this is not going to go the way I need it to right now. Well, I guess I can get 1 more of a color. That's really boring, but let's do it anyways. Let's get an orange and... No, why would I... Thank you, Tibotopia, for your assistance. Okay, we'll do that. There you go. So I need... And then I will drop this one in here, like so. I'll rotate. So I've closed off this district this way. Now I have too many landmarks. I could do 2 red, orange, blue. I have a whole bunch of options. But unfortunately, the one color I needed was green because this is worth 2 points versus all my other options of 1 point. So I will simply take a little blue guy, pink, because what actually helps me is this one here scores me for adjacent populated districts. That makes me extra points there. And then I will throw this back towards Andre for the last play of the game.
Yeah, I don't have a lot of options right now, so that's it.
All right, that's the game. So now what we'd simply do is we'd add up all the points. So you add up your player boards, or your settler tracks. So 2, 6, 13, 17, 18, 28, 30, 33 points in my settler. And then if I go down here, the granary is 2 per each. So that's 10, so that's 40. This guy already scored when I discarded, so that's 40. and then 3 for each adjacent. Oh, I built that in the wrong spot. Oops. So just 3, 6. So I guess that gets me 46 points, which is a fairly average score for someone who's played as much as I have. All right, now we go over to Andrei. He's got 3, 10, 16, 17 on his board. And then we go to here, 2 per noble, so he's an extra 6, that's 23. 2 point for district to the longest. 2 per no empty houses. We're at 23, so we're at 25, 27.
Yep.
Yep, and then we go longest street is here. So 1, 2, 3. No, is that your longest street?
Yeah, it is.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's another 10. So what does that get you at? 37?
Yep.
Yes! 37 to whatever my score was, 40 something.
Yeah.
Awesome. See, that's why. See, Andrei's a very smart designer. As he lets the publisher win, so that I like the game more. Very well done on his part. So that's the competitive version of City Builder. If you are on Tabletopia and you want to try the other one, both of them are free to use, and it just changes the game slightly. The biggest changes being the settler track in the middle. Will it let me change it as the game's active? Oh, it might. Come on, computer, catch up. Oh, it would. There we go.
Oh, I think we would have to say.
Watch me. I could probably boot you. Haha, there we go. Kick her out. Yeah, see if that actually starts up or not. Oh, I may have actually just frozen. Oh, there we go. So yeah, so in the cooperative game, the settler tracks are flipped over, like I mentioned before, and now obviously we'd be working cooperatively, because what ends up happening is there's a chit pull where we are pulling settlers out of a bag and putting them onto these tracks. If these tracks ever fill up, then everyone's going to lose. We also have to worry about building a certain amount of monuments for our player count and our difficulty setting, and then also following the Emperor's edicts. And these are basically game-changing rules to make the game a little bit harder as you play. So we won't play the whole playthrough here because we've already gone over time. But if this was going fast, I don't know why it's so slow right now. I probably have too many things open. But yeah, if you want to try the cooperative mode, the rules are in the same spot, so you can just see how to play the game and the different changes to it using those cooperative tracks, the monuments, and the edicts. So thanks so much for Andrea and Rain City Games for setting this up. Thanks to Andrei for making the darn game and for joining me on the chat. And I'll shut up for 2 seconds and let the two of them talk.
Yeah, well, obviously, thanks, Andrea, for setting it up. Thanks for setting up the original meetup where I got a chance to pitch my games. And
yeah, I was wondering if you guys had talked about the original AwSHUX.
That's how we started, yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was great.
Yeah. And no thanks to you, Conor, because you just beat me at my own game.
I love this game.
Thanks.
I play this game a lot. I mean, apparently I also cheated at some point, so we'll never really know.
There were, allegations back and forth. It's all good.
Some shenanigans.
Yes, the perfect way to demo a game.
Exactly.
Thank you guys for running through the game. Sorry I wasn't here for the whole thing. I was actually listening to it in the other room, so I was still partly paying attention. But we do have some other folks joining us later this afternoon for some more Twitch programming, which is a thing we do now apparently. At 1:30 Pacific time, we have Test Coast Games on. They're a locally produced podcast about indie design board games. They have a panel going on how to build a community in the board game industry, both from retailers' perspective, but also from publishers and indie designers if you're trying to get some momentum behind your game. Different ways to do that. Mm-hmm. At 2:30, we have the Great AwSHUX Baking Show with Board Game Feast. It is a bake-along, so he will be making a reference pear pie. So if you want to watch some on-theme cooking, We've got that. 2:30 Pacific time, 3:30 Pacific time, or maybe just a teensy bit later. Test Coast Games is back with an interview with game designer Chris Morris. Then at 4:30, Test Coast Games is back again with an interview with Hot Banana Games, who I'm going to forget the game title. They have a game in development, and it's really cool. It's about making steamed buns, steamed bao. I will figure out the title for next time.
You're hungry, all this baking you're talking about.
Yeah, it's food day. So there we go, food games. And then this evening at 7 o'clock Pacific time, Channing and I, my husband and I, are doing an Ask Me Almost Anything. What's it like to be a game store owner, and particularly in a COVID year, what it's been like for us. So we'll be asking folks on Twitch to submit questions, and we'll just kind of have a casual chat and answer what we can. So that's the day's lineup.
Awesome.
We're keeping busy today. And then in the in-betweens, we'll go back to the security camera feed, which has been weirdly popular, apparently. We've gotten a lot of viewers, which is cool, but also a little bit weird, you guys.
They might just be casing your joint, so be careful.
We have multiple layers of security, so I think we'll be okay. I hope we'll be okay.
I've seen Channing's baseball bat, so I wouldn't recommend funny business.
That falls under that almost anything. Yeah, so we'll be back, or at least I'll be back in a little bit, 1:30. That's in like an hour and 15 minutes. In the meantime, thank you so much, Conor and Andrei. We're really excited to see City Builder here on our shelves. It's on its way. It's looking good, looking very good. And yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Thanks, everyone.
See you guys.
Bye.